diaspora, Jamaicans of like mind in Jamaica. Connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the expert, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Awake, my St. John. Leave all meaner things to low ambition and the pride of kings. Let us, since life can little more supply than just to look about us and to die, expatiate free o'er all this scene of man, a mighty maze, but not without a plan, a wild where weeds and flowers promiscuous shoot, or garden tempting with forbidden fruit. Together, let us beat this ample field, try what the open, what the covert yield. The latent tracks, the giddy heights explore of all who blindly creep or sightless soar. Eye nature's walks, shoot folly as it flies, and catch the manners living as they rise. Laugh where we must, be candid where we can, but vindicate the ways of God to man. Say first of God above or man below, what can we reason but from what we know? Of man, what see we but his station here, from which to reason or to which refer? Through worlds unnumbered, though the God be known, 'tis ours to trace him only in our own. He who through vast immensity can pierce, see worlds on worlds, compose one universe, observe how system into system runs, what other planets circle other suns, what varied being peoples every star, may tell why heaven has made us as we are. But of this frame, the bearings and the ties, the strong connections, nice dependencies, gradations just, has thy pervading soul looked through, or can a part contain the whole? Is the great chain that draws all to agree, and drawn supports, upheld by God or thee?
In the
was Jah, and the word was Jah. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then he created man of his own likeness. He gave unto man the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Jah is my help and my strength, so shall I fear. He is a shield upon my right and my left hand, so whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king, Jah is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide throughout this creation. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out in the forward. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide when the Philistines come down upon me. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies come to devour me. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide from the distance of darkness. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide from the vampire. So whom shall I afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my king. Jah is my health and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid?
Knowledge is power and power.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Presumptuous man, the reason wouldst thou find why formed so weak, so little, and so blind? First, if thou canst the harder reason guess, why formed no weaker, blinder, and no less? Ask of thy mother earth, why oaks are made taller or stronger than the weeds they shade, or ask of yonder argent fields above, why Jove's satellites are less than Jove. Of systems possible, if 'tis confessed, that wisdom infinite must form the best, where all must full or not coherent be, and all that rises, rise in due degree. Then, in the scale of reasoning life, 'tis plain there must be somewhere such rank as man, and all the question, wrangle e'er so long, is only this: if God has placed him wrong. Respecting man, whatever wrong we call, nay, must be right, as relative to all. In human works, though labored on with pain, 1,000 movements scarce one purpose gain. In God's one single can its end produce, yet serves to second to some other use. So man, who were here seems principal alone, perhaps acts second to some sphere unknown, touches some wheel or verges to some goal. 'Tis but a part we see and not a whole. When the proud steed shall know why man restrains his fiery course, or drives him o'er the plains, when the dull ox, why now he breaks the clod, is now a victim, and now Egypt's god. Then shall man's pride and dullness comprehend his actions, passions, being's use and end. Why doing, suffering, checked, impelled, and why this hour a slave, the next a deity? Then say not man's imperfect, heaven in fault. Say rather man's as perfect as he ought. His knowledge measured to his state and place, his time a moment, and a point his space. If to be perfect in a certain sphere, what matter soon or late, or here or there? The blessed today is as completely so as who began 1,000 years ago.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then he created man of his own likeness. He gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Jah is my heaven, and my strength. So
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Both sides of the story.
we always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Stories from Jamaica and across the world, keeping you informed on the issues of the day and more. It's Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Learn interesting facts and trivia. Participate in lively discussions on affairs locally and internationally. Hear the stories of business, philanthropy, and more from Jamaicans at home and abroad on Both Sides of the Story. Come tell your side of the story. Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm, on a mission to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Weekdays 2 to 5 p.m. live on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Call Marja Black Quarry and Block Factory for all size grits, stone dust, marl, block mix, 4-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch blocks. Their blocks are certified by the Bureau of Standards and they deliver island-wide. Hardware's homeowners, contractors. Call them at 876-964-9871 or 876-964-3246. Marja Black Limited, building Jamaica block by block for 30 years. Call them today for a quotation. Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious call-in program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
It's a living clearance. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Jah is my keeper.
It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 11th day of the 4th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. The month of April is still being observed as World Autism Awareness Month. Here in Jamaica, it's Cancer Awareness Month, Financial Literacy Month, and Farmers Month. The Battle of Rivas is being celebrated as National Heroes Day in Costa Rica and Liberation Day in Uganda. It's Holy Week 2022. Hoy es lunes el 11 de abril 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado. porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
In the beginning was the Word. The Word was
C'est lundi le 11 avril 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid?
All we're saying is it's Monday, the 11th of April, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out in the forward. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king.
We started out this afternoon with a couple of extracts from Alexander Pope's piece entitled The Essay on Man. The Essay on Man by Alexander Pope, published 1732, 1733. The first epistle, that's what we read from. Alexander Pope's Essay on Man, the first epistle. In fact, we shared with you the first two sections of Alexander Pope's The Essay on Man. A most appropriate time for us to combine the thoughts of Alexander Pope with the soul-searching musical genius of the late, great Peter Tosh, his piece entitled Creation. So we paired the Essay on Man by Alexander Pope, the first epistle, reading the first two sections plus the intro, and matched that with Creation by Peter Tosh. It is Holy Week, and that's the basis on which we have kicked off this afternoon's program, Both Sides of the Story, on Power 106 FM. I know in this fast-paced, ever-changing, pluralistic world, it's very easy for us to throw tradition out the window and minimize meanings and maximize our own aspirations and ambitions. Nothing wrong with that. When you grew up with a mother like mine, then you would know there are some things that you do not discard. And so the tradition continues during this Holy Week 2022. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. There are a couple of designated numbers you can dial to listen to Power 106 FM. If you're in the United States, for example, you can call 631-359-09. 631-359-8281. That's 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953. That's 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook in the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. We acknowledge those of you listening on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. What's on your mind this afternoon? Well, if it's land related, stand by. Land Solutions is coming up. Other than that, you're free to call and message and otherwise connect with us to share whatever is on your mind, wherever in the world you are. Good afternoon to Jeannie Chambers, who is up and running. She says, good afternoon, teacher. Bless up to you too, Jeannie Chambers. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Velta Wilson in St. Thomas. She says, and to my fellow listeners, hope you're enjoying your day. We hope the same for you too, Velta Wilson. Norman Hines is also in St. Thomas, and he's hitting us up. Good afternoon to you, Norman Hines. Thank you very much for tuning in. Quincy Brown is in Grand Cayman. He says, from Cayman to Jamaica, Holy Week greetings, blessings. Holy Week greetings and blessings to you too, Quincy Brown in Georgetown, in the Cayman Islands, in Grand Cayman. And Mikey Jarrett in Brooklyn, New York is greeting us. Blessings and blessed love, my friend, he says, from Brooklyn, New York. Blessed love to you and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in New York. All things being well, we're hoping to touch down in New York pretty soon. Stand by for that. Sophia Nemard says, good afternoon to you too, Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth. Good to have you on board. And Mikey Jarrett reinforces his thoughts and mood. And thank you very much. We see all the emojis. Sharon Richards says, happy Monday, Sir Malcolm. Happy Monday to you too, Sharon Richards. Thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. And welcome to Cherry Henry. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Lots of rain from last night. Well, I think I've seen this before. I'm not sure. Maybe I have seen it before. Not sure. But here we had Andrew Cannon, corporate public relations manager for the National Water Commission, indicating that we'd be going through a period of drought and that we needed to take certain steps. And then before he could say drought, it started to rain. And even now it's raining. I mean, before today. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. What a weird Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica
Hello?
keeps rolling out the good
Hi.
fertilizer them. What you saying? A new one? Yes, man. It name Evergreen.
Yes.
Evergreen is a balanced, multi-purpose nutritional formula that maximizes nutrient uptake, improves the plant's health, supports better crop
Anytime between
development,
3:30 and
harvest
5 is
potential,
fine.
and quality. Evergreen can be used on a wide variety of crops and is available at leading farm stores island-wide. Distributed
Sure.
by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica.
Get a flying start out the blocks.
Yeah, I
with
think
pure
I still have the
optical and
information
real
that you
optical
sent.
boutique. Our blue filter anti-glare and transition lenses are available at our 9 locations
problem.
island-wide. See you at the finish
Sure,
line.
no problem. That's fine. All right. Okay.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you
Okay.
defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Compliments of the Jamaica
Alright.
Council for Persons with Disabilities, educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, 876-922-4115. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, and that number is 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. Facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the JN building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In fact, a lawyer is always on duty at the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findley and Company on a Thursday. On a Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., a lawyer is on duty at the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. Now, you can always call the regular numbers for the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, and those numbers are 908. Well, don't forget the 876 908 1950 or 876-908-3518. You can call the Ocho Rios office. You can dial direct to get to the Ocho Rios office, which is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. Well, in just a moment, it will be time to say good afternoon and welcome. Hope she didn't get wet in the rain. Good afternoon and welcome to Attorney at Law, Calicia Findlay.
Good afternoon, Dervan. Good afternoon, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. And no, Dervan, luckily I am dry, but it is pouring outside here in Kingston. I'm not sure about other sections of the island, but it does seem like what we would refer to as all island rain. So I hope everyone is safe and dry.
Amen.
Thanks again for tuning in to Land Solutions. As Dervan just said, I'll be your host for today, Calicia Findlay. Today, I want to talk a little bit about renting properties. Usually, we speak about the issues of landlords and tenants, but I'll get to that in due course. But I want to talk specifically to persons who are looking to rent property and the steps you should take to ensure that everything is done correctly and legally. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-41135. And the text and WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254. Again, that's 876-881-5254. So, you are a potential renter. You're looking somewhere to rent. What is the first step you should take? And in this case, I'm not talking about short-term rentals. We're all familiar with Airbnbs. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about your regular residential rental. So you're looking at a house to rent for you and your property for a long time. Let's say a couple of months or a year or more indefinitely. That's what I'm focusing on today.
And we should tell you, Calicia, that we have a caller on standby waiting to speak with you.
Thank you, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Michael,
Hello.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
How may I help?
That's kind of low though.
I can hear you. Go ahead. This is Land Solutions. You're live on air.
Yes, glad to have got news. I have a small big problem here. I surveyed my place in 2014 and didn't get the paperwork till 2015 September or something. Is it still good news?
It expires after 7 years, but you don't have to do a new one. You just need...
Kind of low.
All right, hang up and I will respond. I'm saying your survey diagram is good for 7 years, but if 7 years have passed, you don't need to do a new one. Just go to any surveyor and have them prepare what we call a declaration to confirm that the boundaries are still up to date or the boundaries are still correct. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
So I'm saying you don't have to do a new diagram. You ask a surveyor to do a declaration. Confirm that the boundaries are still the same.
Yes. I did it in 2014, but didn't get the paperwork. It's signed 2015.
No problem. So hang on to your diagram. If 7 years have passed, ask the surveyor to do the declaration to bring it back up to date.
Thank you kindly.
You are welcome. Thanks for listening. Again, the numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-41135, and the text and WhatsApp line 876. Too many numbers to remember. Text and WhatsApp number 876-881-5254. So you're looking to rent property. The very first thing that you should do your research and engage an attorney. Do those at the same time. I'm sure many of us over the years would have seen stories about people being caught up in rental scams. And it happened to someone I know very well the other day. we all have the best of intentions when we're looking to either rent or buy property, and sometimes our eagerness may get the best of us. So do your research. You are talking to someone who claims that they're the owner of the property, they're the agent of the property, or a relative of the owner. But what proof do you have? How do you know that this person is who they say they are? Have you met this person in person? Have you seen the title? Have you confirmed that John Brown on the title is the John Brown that you are speaking to? And this is where an attorney comes in, because as the attorney, we will do the due diligence for you, or a real estate agent. Have you actually seen the property? Yes, you may get these wonderful pictures, but are these the pictures of the actual property? In fact, is there even a property? And you can do some simple things. Let's say you get an address and you get a picture. Drive by the property. Does this match up with what is actually on your phone in terms of pictures? Are you able to speak to a live person? I've heard cases where persons only communicate via social media or email, and it turns out it's some scammer that they're talking to. Are the rates being quoted for this rental property too good to be true? This is a nice area where properties usually go for $100,000 a month. Yet this person is offering it to you for $50,000 a month. If that isn't a red flag, then I don't know what is. Is the person saying, no man, you don't need to sign an agreement, just move in and pay me the money, or just pay me the money and then you get to see this? That doesn't make any sense. We have to be careful. How are they asking for payment? Is it cash only? Are they saying pay to the account of John Brown, even though the property is owned by Mary Smith? These are the little things that you have to look into. Are they saying that you cannot pay by credit card? You can't pay by check? Think carefully about these things. If you have any doubts, contact an attorney, contact a real estate agent. If you have paid over money to someone to rent property and they've disappeared, report it to the police as soon as possible, because it happens quite frequently. And if it happens to you, I know it's difficult, but don't be embarrassed, don't be afraid. Report it to the police, because at least in your case, in doing so, you will help someone. You will help someone not to have this happen to them. So the common scenario, someone may put an ad in the paper to say 2-bedroom house for rent. You call this person, and I say the area. You call this person, the price sounds good. You go ahead, you send them the money, and you're not only do you send them the rent, because we send them the deposit, so they have two months worth of your money, and then after that you can't find them. The number is no longer in service. You show up to the property, someone else is already living there. The property does not exist. So please do your due diligence. Get an attorney, get a real estate agent when you're looking for property. We have a message. Good day, Miss Kinley. How would someone be able to get their money back if they fall victim to a scam like this? Unfortunately, most times the money disappears with the person. If you get the police involved quickly, and the police can do their investigation, sometimes they can find the person and the money, and hopefully it will be returned. But more often than not, that money is gone. So please be very careful. Like, times are hard. Everything is expensive. We see how housing costs are expensive. The same for rent. Gas is expensive. So it's very difficult to know that you have worked so hard for your money and then to have it be stolen. So don't get ahead of yourself. Yes, you're anxious to find somewhere to rent, but please do your due diligence. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411-325. The text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. To send us an email, you may email us at Gloria at landsolutionsja.com, and to call the law offices of Brown Finley and Company, call 876-908-1950. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Get a flying start out the blocks with Imperial Optical and Imperial Optical Boutique. Our blue filter anti-glare and transition lenses are available at our 9 locations island-wide. See you at the finish line.
Your taxes hold the key. Tax Administration Jamaica presents Necra Talk Tax on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. on both sides of the story. A program that educates and informs taxpayers of various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Necra Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app. Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor Agricare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor Agricare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk. You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company: 876-908-3518 or 876-908-1950. If you wish to dial direct the Ocho Rios office of Brown, Findlay and Company, their number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. A lawyer is on duty at that office, the Ocho Rios office, Shop 6, upstairs the JN Building, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Over to WhatsApp. Someone says they bought a piece of land with a friend and they have decided they want it subdivided. Can either of us start building before the subdivision is finalized? I would not advise you to do that because, God forbid, let's say you own the land as joint tenants and both of you start building your separate houses before you get subdivision. God forbid, if one of you dies before you have your separate titles, then your house would now belong to the surviving person. because with joint tenancy, the survivor takes all. So try to begin your subdivision process as soon as possible. If you haven't already, contact a surveyor to come in, prepare the plan, to submit to the parish council to get that started. And remember, the subdivision process takes a long time. The approval process itself at the parish council takes about 18 months. So please start. And then once you get the approval, it may take another 3 months or so to get the 2 to 3 months to get the individual titles at the titles office. Continuing my discussion surrounding landlord and tenant issues. So at the top of this program, I discussed the signs, the steps to take when you are looking to rent property, or the signs to look out for when you are looking to rent property. So let's say you have done your due diligence, everything has worked out, you have successfully rented property, and you are now in the property. What do you need to do? What are your duties as a tenant and also as a landlord? As I said before, usually we look at it at the back end when things go wrong. We usually discuss what happens when the landlord wants you out, when the tenant isn't paying the rent. But let's assume it's a perfect world and everything is fine. Tenant and the landlord are getting along. What needs to happen? Let me start with the landlord. As a landlord, you have a duty to keep your property in good repair. It sounds simple enough, but many landlords completely ignore that. They assume that once, because the property is rented and they have someone living in the property, that they don't have to do anything to take care of it, to upkeep it. That is not so. The landlord has an ongoing duty to make sure that the property is in a good state of repair. So if the exterior of the building needs to be painted, even the interior, the landlord should take care of it. And sometimes, depending on the nature of the lease agreement or the rental agreement, and let me just say, we use lease and rent interchangeably. Sometimes, common parlance, when people refer to lease, they refer to a longer period, let's say 20, 30, 40 years. Rental agreement, maybe month to month, year to year, but technically or legally, there's no difference between a rental agreement and a lease agreement. So, usually a landlord is responsible for major repairs, and the tenant is usually responsible for minor repairs. So let us say the tenant is living in the house and a light bulb needs to be changed, or they have damaged a lock, a switch, the tenant is responsible for that. Anything major, exterior, usually that's the landlord's responsibility. And you can specify who needs to take care of what in the lease agreement. So it goes without saying that you should ensure that there is a lease agreement prepared by an attorney and signed by both the landlord and the tenant. The landlord is also, this is another duty of the landlord. The landlord must ensure that they allow the tenant to live there peaceably. They must have peaceful occupation of the property. In law, we call it the right to quiet enjoyment. So yes, you are the owner of the property, you are the landlord. It doesn't mean that you can just turn up to the property anytime. It doesn't mean that you can use your spare key to open the door and to walk in at any time. That is a breach of the tenant's privacy. That is a breach of the lease. The tenant must have the right to enjoy the property in a peaceful manner. Landlord also has an obligation to ensure that property taxes are paid. Many landlords again believe that once the property is rented, that everything is now the tenant's responsibility. So certainly, the tenant is going to be responsible for paying the water, the light, if they have internet, cable, if they have security costs. Those are services taken out by the tenant. It is their responsibility. and it's usually specified in the lease agreement. And even though that's usually what's done, anything you can contract to anything. So if it is agreed between the parties that the landlord will pay the water rate or the electricity bill, no problem, it can be done. But just ensure it is specified in the lease agreement. Generally speaking, the landlord has an obligation to pay property taxes. Usually too, if it's one of those communities that charges maintenance fees, it is the landlord's responsibility to pay the maintenance fees. But again, they can agree that the tenant will pay the maintenance fee. So, but with respect to property taxes, landlords, you're still on that obligation. You still have an obligation, I should say, to pay the property taxes. Let me jump over now to the tenant's responsibilities. And I know many of you may say, once I start this discussion, the tenant's responsibilities are a little longer than the landlord's responsibilities. But it is what it is, but I still want to make certain that you have an idea of what your rights and obligations are as a landlord and as a tenant. Let me just get to this message. Good afternoon. If I pay the landlord property taxes, can I deduct it from the rent? This is a good question because often a tenant may, in this case, pay the property taxes or pay something else for the landlord. Let's say there's something that needs to be repaired. Rent is $50,000. It costs $10,000 to fix whatever item. The tenant will just pay over $40,000. Technically, that should not be done unless both parties agree to it. So you can't just say this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. It comes up to X amount. I'll just deduct this from the rent and pay the rest over to the landlord. Both of you need to agree on that. And technically, if you do that, it means that the landlord has not been paid in full for the month, and they can use that as a reason to evict you from the property. So if there is something that needs to be done, let's say the landlord is being slow or just not being as diligent in attending to it, and you want to go ahead and pay that for them and deduct it from the rent, have that discussion with them first. Ensure you get an invoice and they agree and they sign off on the invoice before you go ahead and do it, because you don't want to spend money on the repairs and then have the landlord demanding the full rent from you. So, and the same goes for property taxes. And it's a little bit, some people may say unfair, because if you pay your landlord property taxes, you don't have an automatic right to deduct it from the rent. But the Property Tax Act does say that the government can make anyone occupying the property liable for property taxes, whether you are the owner, a squatter, a tenant, or maybe what we call a licensee. Let's just say you have a little stall on the land. If property taxes are not paid and you are occupying or possessing the property, the government can serve you with a summons. So make sure you have all of these listed in your lease agreement. And if an attorney prepares the lease agreement for you, these are standard. And in the lease agreements we prepare, we say who pays what. Landlord pays A, B, C, D, E. Tenant pays E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. Because the tenants, as I said, the tenant's responsibilities are usually longer. But please ensure everything is stated. Because a lot of times, why these matters end up in court or before the rent assessment board is because there isn't enough certainty. Things aren't specifically stated. And yes, there are implied conditions. If you don't have a written lease agreement, there are certain things that are implied from law. But to avoid any uncertainty, ensure everything is documented in a lease agreement and ensure each of you gets independent legal advice. Usually, let's say the landlord's attorney will prepare the lease agreement and the tenant just signs it. That is never a good idea. Each of you should have your own attorney advise you, because what if the landlord's attorney puts something in a lease agreement that you don't understand or that is unfair to you? So please ensure each of you gets independent legal advice. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. doing Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions: 876-881-5254. That's 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In fact, a lawyer is usually on duty at the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findley and Company every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Thursday. You can dial direct if you wish to be in touch with the Ocho Rios Office of Land Solutions. The Ocho Rios Office of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company. That number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. The other numbers for the law firm Brown, Findley and Company: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. Over to email, and again, email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. I purchased a piece of land from someone whose dead father is on the title. How would I go about getting the title? Again, you should never purchase property without the advice and subsequent representation of an attorney. Because this purchase is, in fact, it's not a legal purchase. Because.
All right, sorry, Calicia, if you could repeat, the line was a little muffled for the last couple of seconds.
Okay, Dervan, no problem. Let me go again.
And also to alert you that we have a caller standing by. Yes.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how may I help? Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. How may I help? Go right ahead. Hello. Yes, are you hearing me better now? Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. And you're live on air. Go right ahead, please. So I'm calling with a question. So I am living overseas, right? And I purchased the land here in Jamaica. But on the receipt that was given after the purchase, it is the other person's name. Would that affect the surveying of the land? No, it would not. It would not affect it. It would not affect it at all. So even when I come down, even though it is their name on the receipt, I still can go ahead and yes, you can go ahead. Do you by any chance have any other documents like a sale agreement? Well, that would be like the sale agreement, but the sale agreement would be in their name. Their name as the seller or the buyer? Is your name on the sale agreement? Oh, because I wasn't there in person. Oh, someone did it for you. Yes, but it is their name. That's fine. If there has any issues with that, you can just ask that person to do a letter confirming that they bought it on your behalf. Okay, hello? I understand. Hello? Yes. Are you hearing me? Yes, I am hearing you. Yes, I understand. Okay, all right, no problem. All right, thank you very much. You're welcome. Take care. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411-325, and our text line, 876-881-5254. Continuing with that, email. I purchased a piece of land from someone whose dead father is on the title. How would I go about getting the title? As I started to say, it's never a good idea to buy land without the advice of an attorney, because this is actually not a legitimate purchase. You can't buy something from someone who is deceased. So send me a follow-up message. How long have you owned the property? Do you know if this person's estate has been probated or administered? If you have been in possession of the land for over 12 years, you may be able to make a direct application for title. If not, their family members may have to settle their estate before the property can be transferred to you. So please, again, send me a follow-up message. And for those of you listening, we implore you, please do not buy land without first seeking representation from an attorney. Over to WhatsApp. My father died about 20 years ago without making a will. He left a wife and a house. His wife remarried. He did not have a child with her. He had 4 of us. Now she is asking me and my brother to sign papers to get a title, the house and land. Generally speaking, if your father died without making a will and he was married, his wife is entitled to a half and all his children would be entitled to the other half. However, you have said that your father died 20 years ago. I'm going to assume that she has been living there all this time with her current spouse. And because so much time would have passed, you and your siblings may have lost your right to the property. Of course, I would need to get more information from you. So you can send me a follow-up message or call us in office tomorrow. So again, once someone dies without a will, the spouse is entitled to a half, the children are entitled to the other half. However, if more than 12 years have passed, and let's say in this case, the wife has been occupying the property with her current spouse, then it may mean that you will have lost you and your siblings would have lost your right to the property. Continue with our WhatsApp messages. And again, the text and WhatsApp line 876-881-5254. My mother is 87 years old and unable to help herself. Her taxes are being paid, but how can we go about looking after the title? The very first step, if you haven't already done so, is to get a surveyor to survey the property. The survey diagram is your passport to making an application for title. So do that. If your mother is, given her age, it is advisable that she makes a will if she hasn't already done so. She also has the option of doing a deed of gift where if she wants to put the property in someone else's name or add someone to the title. So again, have the property surveyed, have your mother do her will, or have her add someone to the what we call the common law title, whatever proof of ownership she has, or she may do a deed of gift. Continuing with our messages, and again, text and WhatsApp line 876-881-5254. To call us in office, the numbers are 876-908-1950 and 876-908-3518. What are death taxes? Death taxes are taxes you pay to the government when someone dies. They are also known as death duties, transfer tax on death, or estate duties. And I'm missing out anything with death taxes, death duties, estate duties, transfer tax on death. They're all one and the same. So when someone dies and you are in the process of settling their estate, you first either need to apply for probate if they made a will, or you apply for letters of administration if they did not make a will. The second part of the application in terms of settling their estate is to apply to the stamp office for an assessment of the death taxes. Again, those are taxes you pay when someone dies. And they are 1.5% of the value of the person's estate at the date they died. If the value of the estate is less than $10 million, then you don't pay anything. You still have to submit the application to the stamp office so they can give you the stamp document confirming that they're giving you what we call a nil assessment, that's a zero assessment. So 1.5%, that's the value at the date of death. If the person died in 2015 and you're making the application now in 2022, the death duties are going to be based on the value of their property in 2015. Can an executor sue a beneficiary and vice versa? Anybody can sue anybody. It all depends on why they would be suing the other person. We see it all the time where beneficiaries sue executors, where they may feel where beneficiaries may feel that the executor is not acting honestly. They feel they suspect the executor has defrauded the estate or has acted negligently. I'm trying to think that I've ever seen a case where an executor has sued a beneficiary. Nothing is coming to me, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. If the beneficiary has done something to aggrieve the executor, certainly if they have damaged the property, if they have destroyed the property, certainly. Again, anyone can sue anyone. So yes, an executor can sue a beneficiary. The beneficiary can sue an executor. It all depends on what we call the cause of action, meaning what has arisen, what has caused this person to want to sue the other person. If you're in this position, of course, goes without saying that you would need to consult an attorney before you file suit. And often, court is a last resort because we know how the court system is in Jamaica when you are suing someone. It's going to take a good 5 to 7, maybe even longer, just for you to get a trial date. So you get what we call mention dates, hearing dates, case management conferences, but before everything can be finally determined, it will take several years. So if you have exhausted all your options, you've tried talking, you've had attorneys writing, you've negotiated, you've done mediation, If all else fails, then maybe you can explore court as a last resort, but try not to let it be your first resort because it takes so long and it is so expensive. This is Land Solutions.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
Celebrate Farmers Month and win a share of $500,000 in the H&L Agro Farmers Month competition, April 1 to 30. Shop with your H&L loyalty card at any H&L Agro store for a chance to win weekly prizes of $10,000 or the grand prize of $300,000. Shop now at your nearest H&L Agro store. Visit hardwareandlumber.com for more details. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious call-in program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. And you shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Your taxes hold the key.
Tax Administration Jamaica presents Talk Tax on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. on both sides of the story, a program that educates and informs taxpayers of various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. And this is the final segment of today's edition of Land Solutions. Those who have been waiting in the wings, doing other things and getting ready or contemplating whether they should call, now would be a good time. Otherwise, you'll perhaps have to wait until next week, or you could call the law firm off air as opposed to on air. Whatever your decision, the program continues. Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113 to 5. 876-922-4113 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions: 876-881-5254. 876-881-5254. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at the Jamaica National Building, Shop 6 upstairs, the JN Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. The numbers to call 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to dial the Ocho Rios office direct, their number is 876-387, I beg your pardon, 876-974-6083, 876-974-6083. Once again, oh, and remember, a lawyer is usually on duty at the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findlay and Company, upstairs, Shop 6, the JN building, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thanks, everyone. I think everyone knows this is the final segment because I have a lot of messages that I will try my best to get to. Good afternoon. If one has occupants living for free in a house they own, they continue to pay the taxes but don't have anything in writing to show that arrangement, and they don't visit the property for over 12 years. Does the owner compromise legitimacy of the property? This person says they're a long-time listener. Thank you so much for always listening. So let me just go again. Someone has people living in their property, they're not paying rent. The owner continues to pay the property taxes. They have nothing in writing, and their question is, does it compromise the legitimacy of the property? And I think in asking whether it compromises the legitimacy of the property, he's really or she's really asking if it affects the owner's right to the property. And the answer is yes. Again, paying the property taxes is not enough. If you have someone living in your house rent-free, they're just there, nothing in writing, you are elsewhere paying the property taxes, after 12 years, that person can go ahead and make a direct application for the title on the basis that they have been there all this time. On this day, feel sorry for someone, say, hey, let me allow you to stay in the house for a while. 1 year turns into 2 years, which turns into 5 years, which turns into 12 years. You've never collected a dime. That person can go right ahead to make an application for the title. If someone is administering a property and someone leases a part of it and they stop paying the lease, can we sue for lease before or give notice before finalizing the administration? You can give a notice, but you cannot sue until you have administration. And even though you can give the notice, technically the notice is not legal because we don't have administration. If the person made a will and the executors now were serving the notice even before they got probate, that would be legal, and the executors could use the will to go to court and say, hey, we are the executors, here's the will, we haven't probated it yet, but we want this person out. Then yes, the court would accept that because the will, in that case, acts as somewhat of a passport to get you into court for the executors to act on behalf of the estate. It's the opposite though, where you don't have a will. When you're applying for administration, you don't have anything to take to court. Not even the court application will suffice to allow you to give someone notice. And that's one of the other reasons why we advise persons to make a will. If you have died, even before your estate is probated, your executors can use their will to start acting on your behalf, on the estate's behalf. They can sue people, they can collect money just using just the will alone. But where there is no will, they can't. Someone wants to know if it is cheaper to be a joint tenant or a tenant in common. When you are acquiring property, whether you are buying it or whether you are getting it as a gift, there is no difference in the cost, whether legal fees or government duties. whether you choose to be joint tenants or tenants in common with your co-owner. So once you're getting property, the gift or purchase, there's no difference whether you want to be tenants in common or joint tenants. Or let me just say too, a lot of times a question I get asked is if I was buying property now and it's 5 of us as opposed to one of us who is the purchaser, is there a difference in cost? Is it cheaper if it's just one person buying? Is it more expensive if it's 5 of us who are buying? It does not make a difference. The amount of people going on a title when you're buying it doesn't affect the cost. If it's a situation where now one of the co-owners has died, then there can be a slight difference in cost as to whether you are a joint tenant or tenants in common. And I realize this varies from attorney to attorney. Where you own property as tenants in common and one person dies, that person's estate either has to be probated if they've made a will or administered if they don't make a will. And those costs depend on the value of the property and the person's estate on a whole. Usually 8 to 10% of the person's estate. That's where you are tenants in common. Where it is a joint tenant situation and one of the joint tenants has died, usually it is a flat fee to do what we call a notation of death. But I have seen recently, in the past couple of years, where some attorneys are charging based on the value of the property for an application to notice. So it depends. But generally speaking, when you're getting property, there's no difference if you want to be joint tenants or tenants in common. On death, it can be a little more expensive because it's when you're a tenant in common, because then it's based on the value of the estate. Can someone else apply for your birth certificate at the RGB? Yes. Yes, it doesn't have to be you. Someone can do it and the application can be done online. I know in some countries, I should say in some states in the US, and I think maybe in some areas in the UK, I could be wrong, you have to show that you are related to the deceased person before you can make an application for their birth certificate or their death certificate. But in Jamaica, anyone really can apply for anyone's birth certificate or their death certificate, even their marriage certificate. We have to do these applications all the time for clients, and we don't have to show any relation. Is there any way around getting a TRN if I live in the UK and buy property in Jamaica? No. The TRN requirement is, I don't mean to be redundant, but it is a requirement. It is redundant if you are acquiring property. There have been rare instances where if someone is mentally incapable or if they're incapacitated, we will ask for an exception to be made, and just to get that request considered takes several months. But no, you have to apply. You have to have a TRN, I should say, once you're acquiring property or if you're selling property. In fact, if you're doing any kind of business with the government agencies, doesn't matter if you don't live in Jamaica, if you have never lived in Jamaica, it is a requirement. Don't be daunted by it. You don't have to set foot in Jamaica to make the application for the TRN. You can go to the TAJ's website, that's Tax Administration Jamaica. I think it's taj.gov.jm to make the application for the TRN. It can be done online. It's a simple form. You submit it along with the required documentation. Usually, I think your photo ID and a birth certificate. Send that in by email, and they will email the TRN for you. If you're considering acquiring property or doing any business and you don't have your TRN, don't wait until the time that you're about to do the business, because sometimes there can be holdups. So go ahead right now, submit your PRN application. If you are, and someone can do it for you in Jamaica, you have to send them the application form as well as an authorization, and the authorization has to be witnessed by a notary public. Thanks as always for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. I've been your host for today, Calicia Finley. Thanks to Dervan on the team. Everybody take care.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then he created man of his own likeness. He gave unto man the wisdom which understanding. Jah is my head and my strength, so him shall I fear. He's a shield upon my right and my.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, on the heels of today's edition of Land Solutions. Let's welcome those who have joined us since the last time we checked, like Calvin Roberts in North York, Ontario, Canada. Faye Weller, blessed afternoon to you too. Thank you very much for tuning in. Shines for Life Law, good afternoon to you as well. And hello to Inez Iona Campbell in, where is she today? Somewhere between Jamaica and the USA. Let's keep it as wide as that, unless she wants to help us to narrow it down to a particular time. To a particular place, I should say, at this particular time. Over to you, Inez. We don't want to load you up unnecessarily. There's a story on the front page of today's Gleaner, which we were happy to break on Saturday morning on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online in relation to the rail service and plans afoot, and we're holding the applause until further notice. But for the time being, it is encouraging news, and let's see how and when it will be brought into commission. Of course, Jamaica stands tall when it's a real pity. Don't get me started on this now. No. It's a real shame, actually, that the country that was about third in line with a rail service, and just look at us now, struggling to put the pieces back together so we can impact the country positively. And we had it all in our hands. It was 225,000 pounds, I believe, off the top of my head, that was spent in the establishment of the rail service back in, when was this now? November 1845. And here we are, decades later, looking to put the pieces back together again. Well, you know what they say, never too late for a shower of rain. And they also say better late than never. But of course, we're going to hold the applause until such time. We're going to hold the applause. We wish the project engineers well, and we will see how this unfolds in time to come. The headline says, back on track. Universities to ink engineering MOU for revival of trains from downtown to 3 miles. And if you missed it, an imminent transatlantic knowledge sharing agreement will lay the design groundwork for the revival of the railroad from downtown Kingston to 3 miles, which could soon be woven into the fabric of everyday life for a modern commute to work, school, and business. The University of Technology Jamaica, UTech, will on Wednesday, yes, this is a story we broke on Saturday on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online when we spoke with the world-renowned Jamaican engineer and Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representative for the North UK, Dr. Kevin Brown. So the University of Technology, Jamaica, UTech, will on Wednesday sign a memorandum of understanding. And this is sacred now. This is in the middle of Holy Week that they'll be signing this memorandum. Wednesday, Holy Week, middle of Holy Week, that the University of Technology, Jamaica, UTech, will sign a memorandum of understanding, MOU, with the University of Birmingham for the rehabilitation of the 3.5 mile track and the restoration of the Kingston railway station on Petron Street. You know, come to think of it, I've been noticing work in that region, and I'd been curious to find out what was happening there. Well, now we know. Now we know. So the Petron Street facility, which was built in 1845, has been closed since 1992. And dozens of overseas-based engineers are expected to fly into Jamaica for implementation of the project, which is set to commence in 2023. That's next year. The return of rail to the city could offer relief to commuters on the capital's notoriously clogged corridors, with thousands of vehicles streaming in daily from Portmore, Spanish Town, and other urban and suburban centers. Once again, we're looking forward, but we're holding the applause. we're holding the applause. We've had so many stops and starts since 1992, as far as our rail service is concerned, was formally closed, apart from the section of the line that transports bauxite, partially closed. It was, right, so essentially closed to public to public passengers. But we have had different developments since 1992, some stops and starts. But let's hold the applause and see how this one will evolve. But in the meantime, we wish those involved all the very best. After all, it's Jamaica that will benefit. And Jamaica long after we're gone, Jamaica, as long as there's life on earth, Jamaica will still be here. Let's continue with more on your program. The story, well, let's move beyond that story now and go to some of the updated news items that have been posted by the Gleaner on their online platform. And what we're seeing now, Manchester businessman convicted of tax evasion. Manchester businessman Wen Chun Kong, who has been convicted of tax evasion, is to be sentenced on May 4. Kong was found guilty last Wednesday in the Manchester Parish Court of cheating the public revenue and making a false statement to the tax administration, Jamaica. That's one of the stories trending on the Gleaner's website. Another woman hospitalized following St. Thomas crash. These crashes, we're not speaking to any one case, but the pictures, the images we have seen of crashes in Jamaica in and of themselves tell the full story. In other words, the speed at which these vehicles travel. So once there is, whatever the cause is, once there is a collision, the vehicles are can be written off, quite frankly, from what we see when these speeding vehicles collide. So there's one such photo, and the story is a woman has been admitted to hospital after the motor vehicle in which she was traveling this morning collided with a truck along a section, a newly opened section of the Southern Coastal Highway in St. Thomas. So even before the official completed Southern Coastal Highway is up and running, people are testing it out already in a bad way. In a bad way. And we are the same people who block roads. And we say we want a road, and a long time the road you have to fix and whatever. And then you put in place a brand new road. And people say, yes, watch this now. And everybody is at Indy 500 and trying to compete with all the top motorsports drivers in the world, and just not recognizing that the real motorsports stars are very well trained, and they have all kinds of security mechanisms in place. So the average vehicle on the road that we like to just speed from here and speed to there, we're really courting disaster. But I don't know. Some of us have lost it, quite frankly. It's as if we don't care anymore. As they say on the streets of Jamaica, anything or anything, including nothing. And, we're getting some news from Inez Ayona Campbell. She says she's here in Connecticut, but will return soon as one of her aunts passed on. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Condolences to you and your family. Inez Ayona Campbell. All the best.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. VW Investments for your financial investment portfolio, giving the best rates in foreign exchange transactions. They invite you to visit their two locations, Main Street Spalding and Main Street Christiana, open Monday to Saturday. Call 876-964-0604 or 876-964-9370. VW Investments for swift professional cambio and remittance service. Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services, environmentally
Adrian
conscious,
says all he's
responsive,
getting
and
is
solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. doing Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
All right.
Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Your taxes hold the key.
Tax Administration Jamaica presents Necra Talk Tax on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. on both sides of the story, a program that educates and informs taxpayers of various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Necra Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Chase from the distance of darkness, so shall I fear. Is my God from the vampire flame, so shall I afraid.
Jah is my keeper.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. Michael Nicholson, where are you? Good afternoon to Michael Nicholson of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the JCDC. We've been trying to connect with you so you can give us a preview of this year's National Festival Queen competition. After all, you are the coordinator, Mr. Nicholson. And anyone listening who knows Michael Nicholson, you tell him that we need to have him on air right now. Michael Nicholson, we're ready for you. Standing by. In the meantime, we join Michael Nicholson in encouraging as many of our young ladies as possible to enter the National Festival Queen competition. You'll never be the same after the JCDC's Festival Queen competition. That's just a fact of life. That's just a fact of life. And so we'll stand by, still standing by for that link with Michael Nicholson. In the meantime, let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number. And speaking of number, there's a number we're not happy to see at all. The Gleaner is reporting that Jamaica's murder tally is at 405. According to the story, crime statistics released by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, are showing that murders are flat when compared to last year. Up to April 9, the country recorded 405 homicides, which is on par with the corresponding period in 2021. For the period under review, the St. Mary Police Division saw the highest jump in murders, with 15 homicides being recorded. For the corresponding period, the division only saw 1 murder. Other divisions with an increase in murders include Trelawney, with 13 killings compared to 3 in 2021. That's a 333.3% increase in killings in Trelawney. Westmoreland with 42 murders compared to 18 in 2021. That's 133.3%, a 133.3% increase in the number of murders in Westmoreland. And Portland with 4 murders compared to 2 in 2021. That's a 100% increase in murders in the parish of Portland. The story also tells us that shootings across the 19 police divisions are down 13.3%, with 312 cases compared to 360 in 2021 for the period under review. Incidents of injured people, rape, and robberies are also down. That's the information from the Gleaner. 405 people murdered in Jamaica since the start of the year. We still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of work to do in that regard. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon. You're doing the rounds, man. Heard you today.
Yeah,
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyhow, I'd like to congratulate all of those who participated at Boys and Girls Camps. And even some of who did not win, they did well because of the high level of performances that were exhibited. And if our athletes should maintain these standards, then in another couple of years, we'll be #1 in the world.
I'm trying to remember who described it as such. Might have been the sports minister some years ago, maybe at least 10 years ago. I think she cited about 4 T's: tradition, talent, training. I think I'm forgetting one. But those elements are key. We have a tradition, a long-standing tradition in track and field in Jamaica. And it shows that the tradition continues every time we have champs and other meets leading up to and even after. So
yeah, because the tradition started from Wint, Ling, McKinley, Tal.
Technically speaking, it didn't start there. It started about 1907 or thereabout, 1906, 1907. There was an attempt at putting together, well, there was some athletics competition or one athletic competition. I'm trying to remember the history as I'm speaking, but it didn't really, they had their competition and that was it. It wasn't until 1910 that there was some kind of a structured organization to run school sports. And so the first champs staged in June 1910. And we haven't looked back since then. Of course, 1948, I believe it was a significant year for Jamaica at the Olympics when Arthur Wint won Jamaica's first ever gold medal, and so on and so forth. The history is quite rich. And that's what tradition is and what tradition does. And because we have continued that tradition, we continue to produce champions. No, they don't all end up on the medal podium per se, but the lessons that they learn are life lessons that stand them in good stead, that serve them well wherever in the world they end up, in whatever field they choose. It's priceless, champs, priceless.
Yeah, and the performance of the athletes, I would like young Jamaicans to emulate them, and then we'll be on the road to progress.
These are the people we need to big up, we need to celebrate, we need to salute, we need to cheer on, so that the youngsters who are skylarking, as the Jamaican song says, skylarking, those who are skylarking will turn from their skylarking ways and get involved in some productive, worthwhile activity.
Yeah, that's true. And when we look at the performance of our athletes here, the amount of records that were broken at champs, and the amount of world leading time set in male and female sections, it shows that our coaches and our management team and principal, all who contributed to the development of these athletes are doing a very good job. And the young people who are operating counter to these athletes, we would like them to turn their life around and emulate these athletes and strive for excellence, because nothing comes easily.
We can start by employing the 31 million US dollars we got from the United States government recently from Vice President Kamala Harris, who herself has Jamaican roots. We should start employing those resources as we have committed to doing as a country towards youth development.
Well, I support you 100% with that, because although we have got assistance from the Sport Development Foundation to assist people in the various disciplines, many of these athletes could do with some of these funding, because although major companies have decided to give financial award to the winners of certain categories at this championship, the performance was so high that many of these excellent athletes will not receive some of this monetary reward. And I would like to congratulate Kingston College for emerging with Victor in the male section. And
hold on, don't move. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Chase me back from the distance of darkness. So shall I feel? He's my guide from the vampire within. So shall I be afraid? Jah is my
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. As I was saying, I'd like to congratulate Kingston College for emerging Victor in the male section and Edwin Allen for winning the girls section. And in my neck of the woods, I'd like to congratulate Ferncourt High School, who only performed well in patches over the years. But this year they performed above expectation, garnering 32 points, 21 points among the boys and 11 among the girls, which is very good. And I hope that they will lift their performance level to higher levels, that the people in this section of St. Anne, which only has, Southeast St. Anne, which only has one high school, will be even more proud. And when I look at it, I am glad when I look at the performance of some of the non-traditional schools that are coming to the fore. Because when you look at it, you have some big name schools that don't get even 1 point, you know. I'm not going to call them name lest they become offended, but when you look at the list, you're down to 1 point. Some of our big name schools that have done well over the years, their name is not on the chart.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to stop anybody from being on the chart. People just need to, as we said, we have a tradition, we have the talent, we have our training facilities are improving, and there's another T I'm trying to remember. I think it's 4 T's: tradition, talent, training. I'll try to remember the next T. But yeah, they just need to apply. Well, yes, but except that performance starts with P as opposed to T. Yes.
Anyhow, you notice after the events, interview the victors by the media, and most of them spoke eloquently.
Yes, we have some brilliant students who have been mastering not just sports and track and field in particular, but academics.
Express themselves in no uncertain
form. Yeah, academically.
So that along with athletics talent goes a certain level of learning where they want to excel academically.
Yes, well, I think we have more than enough evidence of academic excellence uh, alongside athletic greatness.
Yeah. And the one that stood out most to me is the long jumper, triple jumper from KC who broke record, Jordan Hubert.
Mm-hmm.
Because here is a young man, 17-year-old, a first year six summer, who could compete for another 2 years with all the glories attached to champs. And yet he decided that he's going to Tennessee University to study and give up the 2 years that would be available to him. And the reason that he said he's going to university, he said, I feel like I made the right choice. My parents are not rich. I live in the garrison, and I really want to come out of that area because at the rate at which I am performing, there are a lot of persons who might grudge me and want to do stuff to me. The sooner I get out, is the sooner I'll be living a safe life. And you know what is important? The safe life. Because fear of losing one life is causing this young man to decide to move forward from his location when we should not have any situation like this in our country of people living in garrison and being afraid to perform and to express themselves for fear that others will want to do damage to them.
I feel privileged having grown up in a few of the so-called garrisons in this country that I have never ever in all my years in these communities never ever received anything less than encouragement from the people in the communities I've lived, the communities in which I've lived. And they are communities that people would refer to as garrisons or ghettos. So that's a big difference between then and now in terms of, although for the most part, our people love to associate with achievers, and we feel good to be able to say, is my community come from, or she's one of us, because she used to, my mother used to grow her, and so on and so forth. There's a sense of pride that comes with that. Unfortunately, that young man is right. There are those who, in fact, I think the best recording I could find to play or to reference, it would be Peter Tosh's response to people like that. The recording called Vampire. I'm sure you're familiar with that one. So it's the vampires in some of these communities who are stifling the communities and suffocating the people of these communities. And only the people can determine where they go from here in that regard, in terms of being liberated from the pangs of hell in some of these communities. We have people now who don't, now more than ever, if they're not happy with the direction you have taken, then they try to find ways to put all kinds of stumbling blocks in your path. And so to the students and the student athletes, since we have been talking about champs, we trust that they are not being unduly pressured or ill-treated in any way or extorted in any way. We really hope that we're allowing our student athletes to achieve their goals in peace.
Yeah, because you know this young man doing same one gathering.
Yeah, well, we know about putting our trust in material things where that can lead us.
Yeah, because the man said you want to further his studies very fast.
Well, he's obviously a smart young man.
And improve his academic, his athletic talent. So maybe he will become a pro much quicker and he will get his degree much faster. Either way, he will be earning good bucks. But he's on the right track. And I say kudos to him. And I hope many other young men out here, especially with the athletic talent that they have, will emulate this individual and allow the country to move forward to growth and prosperity. Have a good day, Mr. Malcolm.
And you do likewise. Thanks for calling.
All right, okay.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876 922-4113 to 5. 876 922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's clear our WhatsApp messages. Where do we start? We have quite a bit of ground to cover, and let's do our best in that regard. Here we go. This one says, Dervan, might your fourth be tenacity in terms of the T's? No, I just can't remember what the fourth T was, but I know for sure the first one for tradition, or was the first one talent? Talent, tradition, training, or tradition. Let's start with tradition. Tradition, talent, training, and hopefully I'll remember the other T before we wrap. But it's not tenacity, which is a good word. Jay Chisholm, thank you very much for responding the way you have. And let's go to another of the messages. This one from Crocs in Black River. He says, greetings. I read something yesterday where the Prime Minister was saying that he hopes that the Court of Appeal will make a wise decision in the matter before it concerning the use of SOEs. Is he implying that if the ruling does not go in his favor, that it would be a foolish decision? Shouldn't it be that the only concern is that the ruling be based on the Constitution? Mr. Holness continues to sail very close to the wind where the separation of powers is concerned. I think he should stop, or that the people should put a full stop to him. Well, we still have a lot of faith in our justice system, Crocs in Black River, and we have seen, we don't need too many more examples. We don't need to look too far to see recent examples where the court independently makes a ruling and the state, as in the government, has to comply. Shall we start to list them? The first iteration of the National Identification Program, that legislation, remember that? And we could go on. We have seen enough evidence of our court system at work, and we still repose confidence in our justice system. But thank you very much for your message, nonetheless, Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I love how you call the final race on Saturday. You were in full flight. Me, Cuban in Georgia. I don't know who you were listening to, but it wasn't me. Must have been Shaggy. It wasn't me. Let's take the break and come back with more in just a moment.
Get high-quality blinds and beautiful windows, drapes, and wooden flooring from Sam the Blind Man, 40 Barnett Street, Montego Bay. The time by Sam the Blind Man is 4:15.
Did you know that the flu can lead to hospitalization and even death? Pregnant women, persons 60 years and older, babies and children, and persons with a chronic illness such as diabetes, asthma, or heart disease are at a high risk for complications from the flu. Get the flu vaccine today. Visit your nearest health center and ask to be vaccinated. The flu is no joke. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. This and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. doing Real Business. Right here on Power 106 FM. Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
Your taxes hold the key.
Tax Administration Jamaica presents Talk Tax on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. on both sides of the story, a program that educates and informs taxpayers of various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 现在地点了10:17 分. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Hold on, let's bring it up. Sorry. This is Matthew.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes, Matthew, good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks.
I'm great, and I'm great as well. I have a very interesting topic that I need to be discussed right now. This topic that we're going to talk about today, it is a taboo topic. I really need to discuss this. Over the years, many homosexuals in Jamaica, I don't know why people have to support those disgusting people, and even the females as well are one of
All right,
those
here's the thing now. We all have our systems of values and attitudes. Values and attitudes. Remember now, we're not a homogeneous people, meaning we're not all the same. We don't all behave the same way. We don't talk the same way. We don't do the same things, etc. It's a pluralistic world. What we have in common is that we are human beings. Before everything else, we are human beings. And so I don't have to like you in order to work along with you in an organization. We don't have to, it doesn't mean we have to go to the same church. It doesn't mean we have to live in the same area, etc., etc. What harmony calls for is just general respect, which gives due regard to our fellow men and women, our fellow citizens. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, etc. It doesn't mean you're going to be friends bona fide with everybody. No, that's not how it is. People are free to do whatever they want to do. People are free to be whatever they want to be, as long as that freedom does not infringe on another person's freedom.
Yes, because my perspective on this topic is that for a man to be with a man is not right. For a woman to be with a woman, it isn't right. I don't know why they have to live that type of lifestyle.
So hold on now. So you're speaking from a biblical position, and that's fine. That's your faith, and it's what you believe. So then what you will do now is to live your life in such a way that even those who might be living their lives another way might be so drawn to your way because of how you carry yourself, so that you go on and being the example that you want to be according to what you believe and what your value system is. But recognize that the other man or the other woman or the other person has similar rights to be whoever they want to be and to do whatever they want to do, as long as that freedom does not infringe on another person's freedom. In other words, while you are busy cursing somebody for whatever lifestyle choices they have made, you're really, that can't be the best use of your time. Because if someone is set in his or her way, no matter what you say, for the most part, that person will continue living his or her life. So be careful that you don't spend your time. You don't spend your time berating and castigating and condemning the other person or the other people, but that you are living such a life that is so exemplary that all the hosts of heaven and earth shall call you blessed.
Yes. Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Malcolm. Let us finish up this conversation because a man, them said a man will talk like girl and act like girl. That's why I have to be with a male.
No, that's a function of genes. That's a function of genes. There are some of us whose pattern of speech or general vocalization takes on a particular slant, not deliberately, but more genetic than anything else. Because remember, we benefit from our parents in terms of who they are and what their personalities are. And some of us get a little more from one than the other, etc. But it's not a given that if one exudes an effeminate or a female-like expressions and tendencies, that it would be an automatic conclusion that that individual is moving in another direction, right? So I think we should just continue to engender an environment of respect, whether we're at work, at school, at play, in the shopping districts of this country, wherever, in the communities, in our households. It's just respect. If we can employ that, yes.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. The other day when I spoke to you, when I tell you that you are not only an intelligent person, I am also a very intelligent person as well. What do you mean by that when you say to me, indeed you are? You say that to me. What do you mean by that?
By your words, by what we have heard from you. Yes.
Yes.
So we just drew a conclusion based on how you have expressed yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and maybe because I don't know why a woman don't want to be with a man, maybe because a man sexual abuse her, put him on her, maybe because he molest her, he harass her, he ruin her life,
yeah, so
maybe she just rather a woman more than a man.
Well, so you are understanding now that it could be any number of things. There are different reasons why people behave differently. That's just a fact of life. There are different reasons why people behave differently. And so we need to be mindful of these things as we interact with people, because after all, we are in the business of people. It's all about people.
Yes. Yes. But me as a man, I love women a lot. I really love Jamaican women. Without a woman, I wouldn't be on this earth.
Well, that is true.
Yes. Yes, okay. Before I go, especially these international celebs, I'm not going to call any names. Some of these female celebrities are gay. I don't know why they have to do that. Interview themselves with a woman on television. Why they have to do that? It doesn't make any sense.
But it doesn't make any sense to you. But understand that there are, as I said, there are different people will act differently. It's just a fact of life. People will make choices that are in their best interest. They enjoy freedom of choice. And so, as I said, be careful that we don't spend our time doing what you just did a while ago in terms of what you said about people, why they have to do, that is their choice. So what you have to do now is just concentrate on your life and your value system, and feel free to share with others. They don't have to swallow it hook, line, and sinker, but you can share a word or two with others. You can, and doing so with a level of compassion, so that you're not outright condemning the individual, but just trying to get an understanding of the individual's choice. And the individual is not obligated to respond to such a question. But it really is about choices. People make choices based on a number of factors: socialization, lifestyle situations, experiences, trauma. There are so many reasons. There are biological elements in there as well, but usually from the standpoint of maybe an individual, for example, being more effeminate, or a female with a strong male voice, that kind of thing. But that's what makes the world such a dynamic place, and we should embrace that. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Contractors and developers, Coast to Coast Quarries is having a 20% discount sale on cash purchases on all size stones. We specialize in washed sand and stones of all sizes. And for all your concrete needs, including blocks and marl dust, look no further. Coast to Coast Quarries, Albion, Yallis, St. Thomas. Call 706-3230. Take advantage of this super deal.
There is a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with approximately only 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people, such as contract workers and the self-employed, do not participate in a formal pension plan, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement Wealth Creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
When the Philistines come down a black, so
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:29.现在 TDN 5点 29分. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Yes, Matthew, we're back with you.
Yes, I'm still on the line because every male, every man and woman choose the life that they want to live. They choose the lifestyle that they want to live. They old enough to make their own decision because, as you say to me, everybody have different opinions and different decisions. You know what I'm saying?
So it is. You just summed it up. Thank you very much.
Yes, that is very, very, very true. So, teacher, how do you get started with Spanish? How do you come up with the Spanish thing?
I did a reading course in Spanish at the University of the West Indies.
Yes, that is French.
Huh?
I always say that you're supposed to be a Jamaican or maybe from a Spanish country. I don't know.
No, all I did was a reading course in Spanish at UWI.
Yes, okay. It was a very riveting conversation. Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you very much for calling. All the best.
Hold on before I go. I lost my mom recently in January.
Terribly sorry to hear that. Condolences to you and your family.
Yeah, thank you. No problem.
All the best.
I will call back another time to discuss another interesting topic.
We look forward to hearing from you then.
Yes.
All the best, and again, condolences to you and your family.
Yes.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello to Errol in New Jersey. He says, good afternoon, Dervan and listeners. To you too, Errol. Tony C. Well, before that, Matthew had sent us a message saying that you always have kind words to say to your people on your show. Well, we try. Tony C. says, good afternoon to you, Mr. Malcolm and staff and all Jamaicans. Thank you, Tony C. Asha Ash says, hi, Dervan, just tuning in from London, England. Welcome, Asha Ash in London, England. Casita Johnson says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Happy Monday, listening to you and callers with their views, Shane Burke, good afternoon to you as well. Good to see you online. Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. To you too, Donovan Campbell. Natalie in Washington Gardens says, good afternoon all from a rainy weather, Washington Gardens, Kingston. Enjoy the discourse on YouTube. Best regards. Kareen Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, listeners and viewers. To you too, Kareen Campbell. Natalie says, 405, too many deaths. Citizens must learn to deal with disputes and resolve them without killing themselves and causing grief. Thank you for your message, Natalie. Truth to Power says, congratulations to the athletes, coaches, and the organizers of Champs 2022. The organization and media production were of such a high standard that it resembled a mini Olympics. That's what happens when you have a well-oiled machinery. Dr. Renee Williamson says, all is well in the world as Kingston College KC are winners of Boys Champs. Hashtag Champs22, hashtag Fortis, hashtag KC, hashtag Fortis for life, hashtag Fortis forever, hashtag Fortis forever. I hope we did enough Fortis forevers for you, Dr. Williamson. Enjoy the celebration. Natalie Winter says, goodbye all. Later tomorrow, I am still watching and viewing. Congratulations to all our champion athletes. You are all winners. Ras Ayuda says, bless up. Bless up to you too, Ras Ayuda in the UK. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas conveys condolences to Inez Ayona Campbell and her family on the passing of one of her aunts. Once again, we join Velta Wilson and everybody else in conveying condolences to Inez Ayona Campbell and also Matthew's family. Matthew just told us that he lost his mom. Sorry about that. Condolences. Let's clear some more of your messages here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Jay Chisholm says, Dervan, thank you kindly for taking time to educate Matthew. Jamaicans seem to have a fear and hatred for LGBTQ people, whether it's the religion or the music. Thank you very much for your message. Well, we maintain on this program that people are free to do whatever they want to do. People are free to be whatever they want to be, so long as that freedom does not infringe on another person's freedom. Horace Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. The police found 3 bodies on the old West Indies glass factory compound. They found 2 yesterday and 1 today. And strangely, I didn't hear anything about it on the news. We don't know who they are or where they're from. When will this madness stop in this country? I think one of those factories closed. I beg your pardon. I think one of those factories close to the entrance to West Indies Glass has a camera. We're terribly sorry to hear of that situation with respect to those murders. And there's a thought that I had, which I will express in due course. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Spider, for your message, the circumstances notwithstanding. And our regards to the family, friends, colleagues, neighbors of the deceased. The loss of any life is to be regretted. After all, we are in this business of mankind, aren't we? The loss of any life is to be regretted. Moralist says, good afternoon, Brother Dervan. Loving God and man means we want to see our neighbors doing what the God of heaven says. Our choice is carnal. What God says is righteousness. Righteousness exalts a nation. By all means, moralist, go ahead and spread the word and spread the gospel. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're free to do that. Now, if you reach out to those who you think have gone the wrong way or are on the wrong path, and they spurn your approach, or they make it clear what their position is and that they differ from you in that regard, I'm not sure how much more you can do. You would have played your part, wouldn't you? You would have. You would have played your part by spreading the gospel. Now, if people don't buy the gospel or don't regard the gospel, the choice is yours whether you keep hammering at them or keep trying to convince them, or you move on to try and find other people to convince of the biblical way of life. Thank you very much for your message, moralist. Ricardo in Glengoff. Good to see you back online, Ricardo. You've been on some kind of hiatus for a while. We trust you are well and your family also. We really hope so. So he says, Bibi is an African gray parrot who speaks 20 languages with a vocabulary of over 500 words. Thanks for sharing that message with us, Ricardo. All the very best. Thank you very much. And moralist says, oh, we must continue. Well, at least you know that, moralist. So by all means, continue to spread the word. Ricardo says, well done, Casey and Edwin Allen from Ricardo Porteous. Precious in New Monkland, St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Holy Easter week to you and listeners. In my area, the rain is falling moderately. Happy for the rain. Precious from St. Thomas. Thank you very much, Precious. And David G.A. Dixon sends us a photo of his princess. Princess, he says, today is my princess Daisha G.A. Dixon's 14th Earth Day. Well, happy 14th Earth Day, or Irie 14th Earth Day. Irie is the Jamaican word for happy. Irie 14th Earth Day to your princess Daisha. Daisha, or is it Daisha? It could either be Dai or Day. David, please help us in that regard. Is it Daisha or Daisha? No, that sounds, maybe not. Must be Daisha then. Day instead of Dai, perhaps. All right, David, when you get a chance, please clear that up. This one says, good afternoon, teacher. Champs, Jamaica, newest religion. We were at our best again. Full cheers to all. Do you want chairs or cheers? Full cheers to all participants. Thank you very much for your message here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's see who else is messaging us. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your message. Thank you for your greeting and all the very best. He's saying hi to Barry and Keithy and the others. Thank you very much. Let's check our text line. 876 365 3346. All right, nothing of note there on the text line. So we're going to move on. Let's move on here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106, Dr. Renee Williamson says, read so beautifully, Dervan, in reference to his message. Tongue in cheek, no doubt. Let's go to the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Now, jobless lights can fall out for a number of reasons. Car accident, people putting trees on lines, or a hurricane. If you see a GPS line down, do not touch it. Don't jump on it. Do not
How
try
many
to
more?
move it. Call the professionals at GPS so they can deal with it. GPS is more than happy to sort out the problem once they know it exists. If you try to mess with a fallen power line, you can cause damage to yourself. Stay safe. Protect life and property. For assistance, call GPS at 888-225-5577. JPS.
All you'll ever need to know about agriculture in the 21st century, packed into one program. Farm Talk with Alpha McKenzie. Farm Talk, showcasing cutting-edge agricultural products, services, and practices. Farm Talk, keeping focus on issues affecting the farming community. Farm Talk, stimulating discourse to propel agriculture as a national tool for development. Farm Talk with Alpha McKenzie, the farmer's best friend.
When I listen to you in the mornings and the way you interview the people so that us as farmers can really understand, you break it down. It's really powerful.
Wake up to Farm Talk, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Farmers and fisher folks, Sagicor has all your answers with coverage for life and health insurance. Tune in this and every Thursday during Farm Talk for the featured Sagicor AgriCare Plan as we educate you on the types of coverage they have to offer. That's Sagicor AgriCare Plan every Thursday during Farm Talk from 6:33 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Sagicor, affordable life and health insurance for farmers and fisher folk.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:12. ¿Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5h moins 12. 现在几点了？5点12分. 12 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Ines Ayona Campbell says, thanks to everyone for the support. Each one needs each other. Blessed. And she says, happy birthday to my daughter, Jessica Hines. Happy birthday, Jessica Hines. All the very best to you. Coming from Mom Inez Ayona Campbell and the other members of the family. How about that? Thank you very much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And other messages popping up. So the latest news with respect to hostilities between Ukraine and Russia. The Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer said his meeting Monday, that's today, with Vladimir Putin in Moscow was not a friendly visit, and that he raised alleged Russian atrocities in Ukraine during the tough talks. Ukraine's president said the country is ready for a major Russian offensive in the east of the country, as he accused Moscow of lying to deflect the blame for the war. Russia has appointed a new general to direct the war after troops failed to take Kyiv, according to US and European officials. Ukrainian officials say more than 4,000 people were evacuated today from areas where fighting continues, including a few hundred from the besieged city of Mariupol. Ukraine's foreign minister said it would be extremely difficult to even think about negotiations with Russia following the atrocities committed in the town of Bucha and the deadly missile strike that hit the Kramatorsk train station last week. And so those are some of the notable developments with respect to hostilities between Russia and the Ukraine, and naturally with other key stakeholders also playing their part one way or another, whether they're in Europe or elsewhere, not least of all in the Americas. Let's move on to another bit of information here with respect to the rich history of this country. Here's a bit of Jamaican history for you. The convening of the House of Assembly took place on this day in 1704, but the representatives of the new parish of Westmoreland appeared not to have been returned in the recent elections, and so Westmoreland was represented instead by Ephraim Stevenson and Thomas Cargill. Westmoreland's first representative was Michael Holsworth, who became Speaker of the House of Assembly. The other Westmoreland representative was John Lewis, but as we indicated, they were subsequently replaced when the House of Assembly convened on this day in 1704. In his opening address, the governor, Sir Thomas Handizid, referred to his day. In fact, he referred to his dissolution of the previous assembly and appealed to the members of the new house for better conduct, better than what had characterized previous sessions. Can you imagine? This is 1704. And they were essentially, there was concern about the behavior of these politicians back in 1704. So this was the equivalent of Jamaica's, what is now our parliament. This was the equivalent. This was the House of Assembly. This was the House of Assembly. And this is 1704 we're talking, 1704. In his opening address, the governor, Sir Thomas Handizid, referred to his dissolution of the previous assembly and appealed to the members of the new House of Assembly, for better conduct, better than what had characterized previous sessions. He expressed his concern for what was happening in the society. Oppression of the fatherless and widows and the taking away of orphans' estates had become prevalent, and he made an appeal for these malpractices to cease. Evil has been with us for a long time and apparently will be in our midst for some time to come. It's just a fact of life, which is why it's so important for us to be rooted and grounded, lest we go wherever the wind blows. So it is. So that's another part of the history. I think that's about it. I think that's all we have time for anyway. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 11th of April, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
When the Philistines come down upon, so who shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies come to devour. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my Jah is my guide from the distance of darkness. So whom shall I fear? He's my God from the vampire. So whom shall I afraid? Jah is my King. Jah is my King. Jah is my health and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I? Jah is my
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.